Good afternoon and welcome, my friends. Yes, it is Tuesday, September the 29th. Robbie Noel sitting in for John Stadtmiller on this Tuesday. John feeling a little under the weather. I was feeling under the weather yesterday after having 2 implants done. I have to say that I had more damage from the painkillers than I did from the implants. Weird, but true. Because there's a high degree of probability that this show will be rebroadcast in a few hours from now, let me give you the closing prices for the day on Wall Street. Dow closing down 47 points at 9,742. Apparently, they were upset over the consumer confidence numbers. NASDAQ off almost 7 at 2,124. S&P 500 off 2.25 at 1,061. In the metals complex, gold closed up $1.20 at $992.70. Silver off 3 cents at $16.17. Platinum off $6 at $1,275. Palladium off $1 at $2.91. Oil closing down 21 cents at $66.63 a barrel. And the U.S. dollar higher by 21 basis points to end the day at 77.11. Joining us, as he does each and every Tuesday, Bob Chapman. How you doing, Bob?
Well, not bad. Not bad at all.
Just you and me, brother.
That's all you need.
Yeah, well, let me put it to you this way. We may circumvent Thursday's show, which I was looking forward to because there's no question we're going to talk about miners in the next 2 hours.
Okay, we can do that, among other things here.
Among other things.
And I'm sure that we'll have some callers who will be interested in talking about gold and silver and things financial and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Do you have anything on your radar screen at this very moment?
Well, I believe that the mini rally that has just occurred over the last 4 business days in the dollar will be short-lived. The Forex market trades about $4.5 trillion worth of contracts a day, and about $2.5 trillion are dollars. Now, I think that the U.S. government is using its swap currencies, which it got in exchange for that $500 billion swap they made, where they created $500 billion out of thin air.
Yeah.
And swapped to 5 major banks, 5 of the 6 which are in the USDX. And I think they've been adroitly trying to knock the market down, and in this time period
We got to go, Bob. We'll be back.
Get ready for Real Talk Radio. You're listening to the National Intel Report with your host, John Stadtmiller.
Robbie Noel sitting in for John Stadtmiller, that's under the weather, joined by Bob Chapman from the International Forecaster. And before we were so rudely interrupted, Bob, you were saying...
Yes, I must say.
Yeah, I know, commercials always get in the way.
Well, somebody's going to pay for it.
Yes, I understand. This is not saying anything derogatory about the fine advertisers.
Well, especially that fellow. He's a friend of mine. The freeze-dried guy.
Yes.
Well, anyway, to finish, so what the Fed is doing is feeding the foreign currencies that they've borrowed or exchanged from others, and they're feeding them into the market to suppress those currencies so that the dollar will go up. And that lasts probably, I don't know, maybe into tomorrow, and that's the end of it. And they don't have enough money to do that. I mean, we're trading $2.5 trillion a day just in dollar contracts. So, I mean, how long can they last? And so I see that petering out, an afterthought to the ridiculous G20 meeting, which accomplished very little, as usual, another non-event. And so that's important. I see gold was flitting around between near the close between even and minus 70 cents or so, but the stocks did not see it that way. Gee, we had Agnico up 2.41%, Gold Corp up 3.46%. Incidentally, Agnico was up, I don't know, $2.50 or something earlier. They ran into some profit taking at the end. The Mine Finders, it was up 2.44%, and SSRI was up 3.12%. So they're looking for higher prices tomorrow. And so I think that's good for everybody who owns gold and silver-related assets. The market is continuing to lose momentum. It tacked on, what was it, 142 points here the other day, 124, and the previous 3 days it was down about 160 in total. And today was down 47, so I think the market has lost momentum. It's certainly way, way, way overpriced. I mean, trailing price-earnings ratio is like 26, and it should be 14.5, and it's really absurd. And so I think that the institutions will get around after tomorrow, which is the end of the month, and all of this the changes that they're making in their portfolios to make things look good will be over. And they'll probably do the first couple of days of October, they'll probably do some changes as well. But after that, I think it's down. It's certainly not up. And where could it go?
Well, obviously this week we got ADP coming out tomorrow, and obviously the big number on Friday, the jobs report. I guess ADP is the whisper numbers down 200,000, but that's a very unreliable report. Why they even base that on anything, I don't know.
Well, they're using the same basic statistics that the government's using, the same formulae, and so either of them is not going to be correct because they're using the birth-death ratio. And so, we've got to look at the innards of the figures and figure they tacked on about probably 185,000 jobs. And so once we figure it all out, it might be slightly better than it was last time around. And that's because there is some minor effect from the stimulus that really was spent or used to reduce debt by the end of July. And so we've been 2 months since then, so that should wane into next February. So I think the market's going to have a hard time. And then about 80% of the stimulus package snaps into gear, but a good part of it is in construction and things like that take a while to work through the system. And I'm looking for a flat to slightly better year next year. And after that, it's going down unless they put another $2 trillion stimulus package into the mix, or banks, instead of reducing lending by 14% year on year, that they increase lending. And I don't think you're going to see them increase lending. So if that is the case...
They're talking about extending the tax credit on first-time home buyers.
Yeah, but they haven't done anything yet.
Yeah.
And chances are they probably will. And that's why you've had a change in the figures that you saw today to the plus side on homes and sales and that sort of thing.
Yeah, they inflating the very bubble that we are trying to cure, which is really smart thing to do.
Well, not only that, Robbie, what they're doing as well is they're making, and have been for a year, subprime loans again.
Yes.
And we're going to get this, let me think, next October, November, they're going to start hitting for foreclosure. Probably 70% of them will go down over 2 years. So here we are, we're right back where we were before. The figures are going to get worse at a worse time because we got alters hitting, and then we got the option arm pick and pay loans hitting, and then we have people losing their jobs and prime home owners hitting